Welcome. This is John Mazzara with Remax Results, and today I'd like to introduce you to Jon Hill with Refined Lending. I ran across John the other day working on a number of files, and he has a special program that he's going to tell us all about, and it's really unique to the industry, and it's something you won't find anywhere else. And John can help you with it. It's called the Wish program. We're currently working with a buyer that was able to utilize this program in addition to a program with Edina and stack the two. It was a first-time buyer, and it worked out just incredibly well. So I'm going to turn it over to John and let him tell us about who he is and his company and some of the products and services he can offer, as well as the Wish program and why it's so unique. John, take it from there.
Hi, good morning, John. My name is Jon Hill, NMLS number 1047466. I'm producing sales manager with Refined Lending locally here. I'm out of the Edina office. John and I are working together on a great client right now who's taking advantage of our Wish program. You might have seen it advertised on billboards and radio. Quite a lot of buzz about the program. It's a first-time home buyer program. That if you're eligible for it, you can get up to $22,000. So our client is getting and securing those funds for the purchase of his house. The way it works is it's a 4-to-1 match of what the client brings in. So if they have $3,000 saved or gifted to them, they will then in turn, if eligible, get $12,000 from the Wish program. The real magic number here would be $5,500. Gets you the maximum of the grant, which is $22,000. If you do decide to bring in more funds, which some clients do and ask about, it still is maxed out at the $22,000, but you are available to bring in additional funds. Also, these funds that are matched can be a gift. That's more unique than some of the other first-time home buyer programs that we offer as well. So we do have other options if this program doesn't fit or work for you or you don't qualify for it. But the great thing about this is when you get that money, that $22,000, you're not going to have to pay that back. You're not going to have to pay it back at all. You heard that right. So the $22,000 is a forgivable grant. They encourage you to stay in the house for 5 years. If you do that, you have no payment along the way on the $22,000, no interest accruing. That just goes away, and you had an additional $22,000 for down payment and closing cost assistance on your home purchase. The program doesn't have a lot of excluding factors once you're approved for it. You can pair it with any government loan program out there, FHA, VA loans. We can also do conventional loans and USDA. So it's great that we can pair this program with other programs. For example, the VA loans, you can finance 100% and have this additional wish funds towards the purchase. Very simple criteria to get the monies once you meet the income requirements for area median income from where you're applying. And again, to get that information, it's best to fill out an application so I can start looking at your actual income and how it would be calculated. Make sure you fit the criteria. We'll collect all those documents for you and get you submitted for formal Wish approval. That approval is good for 1 year. So if we don't end up finding you a home this year, the approval for that $22,000 is still good for 1 calendar year. So we've got a big part of the process of the approval done by the time that you do buy a home. As long as you're a first-time home buyer, what that means is you haven't been on title or a mortgage for 3 years. So if you had previously owned a home and it's been 3+ years, you are eligible for this program, which is really great. We could get you approved very quickly. Blake, our client that we're referencing here, from when John introduced me to him being approved for that loan, I would say, John, wouldn't you think it was about less than a week and a half we had him formally approved for the Wish?
It was beautiful. Yeah.
And the
Week and a half, we knew we had the funds.
Yeah, it comes down to our clients being prepared, and we're going to let them know everything after they fill out an application, what specific documents we need from them. But if the client gets those to us, it's within 24 hours that my team submits the loan for formal wish approval. And then those are being reviewed within 1 to 3 days right now. They let us know what else we need or anything that needs to be clarified. Once we get that information back to our underwriter, they sign off on it. They give us a formal approval. And from that day, we know that our client is going to get matched 4 times whatever funds that they bring in for the purchase of their home up to $22,000, which, I mean, that's a huge sigh of relief in today's market with, knowing that you have these funds secured when you're going out there shopping, being able to contact John and I to run payment scenarios and what it would look like with the wish funds, and just have that little layer of security and peace of mind when you're going out there. Wouldn't you say, John?
Absolutely. And a couple of things that you mentioned, the approval for a year, that's tremendous. And a lot of the other programs, like there was one called the Neighborhood Lift, that had funds, and I believe it's now closed and was restricted to 2 cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. So that was just another program that did exist in the past, is currently out of money, and I believe is not coming back, or at least with the major lender that was once doing it. So, if you were waiting for that money and you needed it, you're now out of luck. Whereas this product that you have, the commitment's good for a year. You do run out of funds, but then it, at least in the past, has replenished itself. So they don't have to worry about, whether or not it's going to whether or not they requalify, is my understanding, because your approval is good. They do have to worry about funds being available, but since you have a history of redoing or replenishing the funds, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it could change, and that's the other thing. If you once you look at everything and you get somebody underwritten, if they don't qualify for the WISH program, you can pivot, meaning you can take them to one of the many existing down payment assistance programs or just traditional regular financing. So the key is to get in and talk to you, see if they qualify, make an application, and then whether it be credit or income or whatever, if there's a limiting factor, you can work with them and continue that process to get them ready to buy a home, going forward. I just love the fact that you're so responsive to getting the buyers, approved into something. And the wish obviously is great if you qualify. And 5,500 of your money will get you 22,000 of wish money, which is magical. And a lot of the other DAPs, or down payment assistance programs, are not grants. They're actually deferred loans, which means that they may have no interest or low interest or no payments, but ultimately you have to pay that back. Because this is a grant, albeit a staggered grant, meaning a certain amount is forgiven, kind of like a vesting, if you will. You eventually, after the 5 years, will get to keep all of that. So that's instant equity. So even if your home doesn't appreciate, let's just say you bought it for X and you sold it for X, you'll still be 22,000 to the good if you took advantage of the maximum wish product, which means you'll have flexibility to move if you needed to move relatively quickly. Some of the other down payment assistance programs might get you into a home. However, if the market turns and you need to sell, you won't have equity and you may need to bring a check. So that's the flip side of some of the other DAPs versus this particular one. And anyway, so yeah, I'll throw it back at you, John.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on some things because this is a program that has an amount of funds available for it. This year, the funds available were close to $12 million. Last year, that was very similar. These are for our home buyers that qualify. Last year, we ended up running out actually in early September. This year, it looks like the funds will continue throughout the fall into the winter. At last update, I think I sent you an email on that yesterday or so. That was about at 3.6 million or so left. But that's why there's urgency here. We want to get you in. We want to see your application, see if these funds apply to you and get you approved. Because if you do happen to find the right house while you're casually searching or aggressively searching right now, we want to have this box checked for you. We want to have you have that comfort and security of knowing you're going to get these additional funds. And if the right opportunity presents itself, like we're finding a lot more, I think, for our clients mutually here, as the fall season's approaching and the end of the summer here, people are finding an opportunity to get back into aggressively shopping. So we want to have you approved. We want to make sure that you know that you're getting those funds. It is something that will run out this year. It has been replenished historically the last several years that we've offered this program. The replenishment of the program doesn't start till April 1st of next year. So if we run out in November, we may have to take advantage of other loan programs in the interim time until those funds get replenished. So you always want to take a look at things now, just in case that right opportunity does come across your plate and John finds you the right home and you want to take advantage of it. You want to know you have these funds available to you, and you want to know that basically your loan is underwritten for income, employment history, credit worthiness, all that's done ahead of time to be approved for this program. So when you go out and you find that right house and then you guys make an offer and that gets accepted, our process on my end is very simple. And what I'm going to need from you at this point is very simple as well, because so much of your loan's already been done. We just need the appraisal in and we need title work in. And then the file is going to be re-reviewed and it can be final approved very quickly. In our mutual client situation here, having the wish approval done, his loan's already conditionally approved. We're actually waiting right now on the city of Edina. The client is eligible with where the property is located, and his credit worthiness and income and everything to have an additional down payment assistance program from the city of Edina, where I think he's going to end up netting, pending approval, another $53,000 towards the purchase of his home. So not only is he getting the $22,000 from Wish, now he's likely to get the $53,000 from the city of Edina program. Now that program you do have to pay back when you sell the home, but he's going to be coming into this house putting so much down that he's not going to have monthly mortgage insurance. He's going to have a much lower payment. And down the road, as his property appreciates over the next several years, it's not going to be an issue to pay back. The city of Edina is the hope when he does decide to sell that home. And right now, he's just going to have a much favorable buying situation, better interest rate, no mortgage insurance, much lower payment. So this guy's really taking advantage of it. And the great thing about Wish is we can stack this with other programs. So we're going to have the main mortgage, we're going to have the Wish program, and we're going to have the city of Edina grant on this as well, which is great. Big beneficial for our clients. And that's something for our clients, whatever city you decide to buy in, that's something we can apply to you as well, whether it's Edina, Dakota County, another city, their programs, we can look at adding them into. We want to put you in the best situation for you and your family, so that you're taking maximum benefit with all these great programs out there. And taking advantage of the Wish program and getting that money you don't have to pay back ever, assuming you stay in the house for 5 years. You still can take advantage of these other programs, which oftentimes is an eliminating factor, and clients have to choose one or the other. Here, you don't have to choose one, you can get them both.
Exactly, that's exactly right. And John, I just want to highlight what you just said. Any city, anywhere in the state of Minnesota. So you do not have to buy. Some of the programs that are out there that are the down payment assistance programs require you to live in certain cities or certain areas within those cities. That is absolutely not the requirement. Again, we're talking about Edina, and the criteria is being the first-time buyer. So the other thing I want to highlight about Jon Hill versus maybe some of his competition is John is the producing manager. He sits down and takes the application. He speaks with the people, and he massages the file. He's not what I'm going to put in quotes, a rate quoting monkey that doesn't know anything. So sometimes there are companies that have a national presence in a call center that will I call it garbage in, garbage out. You put in the information online, they spit you out a pre-approval. They've got the disclaimer on the bottom of the page. It says, subject to verification. Well, John's already done all that. So when he writes an approval letter, he's already vetted it. He's looked at the file. He's not just printing something out, and he doesn't just have 6 months worth of experience. And so I've been doing this 35 years, sold over 1,000 homes, working over the entire metro area within an hour of the Twin Cities. And I like to work with people that do business correctly. And that's why, I'm working with John, because he does business the right way, and his approval letter means something. he doesn't have to take it back or apologize. I mean, things can happen on file, certainly, that are beyond his control. But what I'm saying is that he eliminates all of the problems up front that he can eliminate, so that the approval is solid. And when you're making an offer, in an offer, I want to know from the other agent and the loan officer that this buyer has been vetted. So on my listings, when I get a letter, if I see it from a large online lender presence, I don't like it, because they may or may not have been vetted to the extent that I want them vetted. So I always share that with my client. I do make the phone call to the loan officer to make sure that I've done my due diligence to the best extent that I can. But I like local. I like people that I can sit across the room from and have a cup of coffee and look them in the eye. And that's what you want to do too. I really don't think you want to do an online call center with people that don't have the experience. And that's whether or not you work with me as your agent, which I hope you do. We are a la carte. So I hope that you work with us as a team, but you're welcome to work with Jon independently if you already have a real estate agent that you like. But if you don't, or you'd like, to have an introduction to see how I might be able to help you, I would love to do that. But again, we are a la carte. Jon's been doing an excellent job, and you can, work with him separate from me. We're not bound together. We'd like to work together, but you are free to do that. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. I'm going to give you Jon's contact info real quick again, and then I'm going to turn it back to Jon and then have him talk about anything else he would like to, maybe some other programs, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Jon Hill is my guest. His company is Refined Lending. Jon can be reached at 612-327-4310. His email is jhill@refinedlending.com. So Jon, if you want to wrap it up for us, tell us a few more things and we'll call it good for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the kind words, Jon. I definitely appreciate working with a professional like you as well. I want to point out one thing that I hadn't mentioned yet. The WISH program, I can do that in 48 states too.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
eye opener for all of you here and for family members that are out of state. This is something that is national, okay? And I can lend in 48 states aside from New York and Vermont. So if you're outside of those states, give me a call. Let's talk. I can help you with the WISH program. This is not a Minnesota only thing. I'm obviously here in Minnesota. We have a lot of Minnesota clients, but this is something that we can offer in 48 states. This is exclusive to us at Refined Lending in the state of Minnesota. We're the only company offering it here. So definitely come reach out to myself or at least one of my professionals at my company. We'll all take care of you. Wanted to touch on the approval process too. You were kind of mentioning that and how important that is, and dealing with a local lender or a professional on this versus kind of an order taker, if you will, a glorified order taker, or those online things that just shoot you out a letter. I take the time when a client's going out to purchase a home. First of all, we know that they're pre-approved at a certain price range with a certain payment. And I don't just approve them for a max approval and say, hey, this is what you can buy, and I send them out there. I want to make sure that they can afford that housing payment and counsel them if they have any questions on, home ownership. A lot of my clients are first-time home buyers. There's going to be more expenses. The bills are bigger. There's trash bills, water bills bigger, electric bill. You need ladders, you need mowers, you need all this stuff maybe that you didn't think about before when you were renting or living with family. And we want to make sure that that housing payment makes sense. So a lot of times after the client is approved, we know they have the WISH funds. We know we have all these things. I have a completely built out application and file for them. So when Jon and that client or my realtors are going out with that client, they get me the property that they're looking at. They let me know what they're thinking of offering. And then I put together the scenario and payment for them so that they know what, based on current market rates, that payment's going to look like for them, with varying degrees of money that they bring in if there's any variance and they want to know different options. But before they make that offer, they know where that housing payment's going to be to the best of our ability at that time. So they're an informed buyer. I think one of the most important things that a client can have during this buying process, for my years in the industry and just being a regular person myself, is peace of mind. That's what I give you. A lot of people are afraid during this process. They're worried. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to give you that peace of mind because you're going to have those answers. And because when you're making that offer, you're going to have talked to me first, whether it's Saturday morning at 7 a.m., which oftentimes happens, or a Friday night at 8 p.m., and you just saw a house and you want to make an offer. I'm here to answer those questions. It takes me a matter of minutes to look up that property and fit it direct to you and how you qualify so that you have that information when you go make that offer. So I really want to stress that's a real important part when you're dealing with a lender and a realtor. You want to make sure you know what you're going into. You're not just, I'm approved for this much, the house is this much, here's my offer. Well, what's the payment? You're going to want to know that ultimately. I don't want to surprise you down the road with it. And look, every house is going to have different property taxes, insurances, potential association fees. So a generic approval for an amount doesn't make any sense. My approvals are property specific. So every time I'm sending John a letter specific to that property to make sure they're good, because we might be on the line and those taxes might be higher on that property and you may not qualify. So we want to address that there, and we want to see, how do we make you qualify? Is it more money in? Is it paying to buy the rate down? Is this a property for you? Is that a comfortable payment? These are all things that you should know before getting into that home ownership, because then you have money on the line. You're putting up earnest money, you're putting up appraisal and inspection money. You don't want to be surprised down the road if the house is more expensive than you expected. We're here to get you that information to make an informed offer and have this be an easier process and as enjoyable as borrowing money can be. That's my goal. I want to make that informed and easy process for you so that you feel comfortable along the way.
Outstanding. Yep. Thank you very much, John. Do you want to let everybody know how they can reach you again? I know I mentioned it, but why don't you tell everybody again how they can reach you?
Yep. So my cell phone is connected to me at the hip all the time. You can reach me at 612-327-4310. If I miss your call, shoot me a text message, leave me a message. I will get back to you at my earliest convenience. My email is also jhill@refinedlending.com. That's another good way. My phone's always dinging with emails. I am available on the weekend. So that's something that you get with me over your local bank or calling the Quickens and these other lenders out there on the phone. They pay a lot of money to advertise. They're going to take that out somewhere. And their people aren't working on the weekends. I'm answering my phone calls. You're all excited. You're going to see some houses. You want to know what those payments look like. Text me, call me. I'm going to get back to you, or someone from my team is going to get back from you right away with that payment. We have your file built out. We know what you're looking to do. We can get you that information. We get John that information so that he can make an offer and present it. And that's the other thing too. This is a super competitive marketplace right now. And if you don't have a good realtor that's fighting for you and a lender that's fighting for you, you're at a huge disadvantage right now. And I'm making calls as soon as I find out that the offer is presented. I get all those details. Is it over ask? Is it under ask? What's the closing timeline? What are all the details there with your offer? And I'm going to call that listing agent. And I'm going to build a case for you to let you know that my client is really well approved for that loan. So that's something that you want. You want someone that's going to win that house for you. And that's what both John and I look to do. We're going to be talking to that listing agent, letting them know how well qualified you are. If you're qualified for the WISH program, I'm able to tell them that 90% of your loan's done. Underwriters looked at everything, checked everything off. We have assets on file. We've verified employment. Credit's good. Look, what realtor is not going to want to accept that offer if it's competitive? And that's what we want to do for you.
Totally. That's excellent, John. And that really does give a competitive advantage. When I get multiple offers on my listings, I maybe get, let's say I get 10 offers. I might get one, maybe two phone calls from the lenders saying, talking about, do you have any questions about the borrower, any questions about their financing, reassuring me that if we select their offer, that they will get to a closing. It's very comforting when the seller asks, well, what do you think? And I can say, well, I've already heard from this lender and that lender These other people, I have no idea. They didn't even bother to call me. They just emailed over an offer. I have no idea. So it definitely helps, and that's the competitive edge that John's willing to do for you, and you should take advantage of that. I was unaware that you're able to do lending in 48 states, so that's a big thing. So somebody
Yeah.
that watching this, if they have a relative, a brother, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mother, brother, whoever, some other relative, and they're like, wow, you know what, that person is a first-time buyer and they're buying in another state. They can contact you and you can do a Zoom call. I mean, you probably aren't going to fly to California. I mean, you might like to for a vacation or something, but you're probably going to do a Zoom call with them and do the app over the phone. But that's huge. That's huge. Like I say, I'm going to share that and make sure that goes in the description in the video that that this program is nationwide, almost all the way across the nation, and that you can do it for them. So that's thanks for sharing that. John, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, unless you want to say anything else before I do.
No, I appreciate your time and I look forward to helping as many people as I can. This is a great program. Obviously, it's a depleting fund at some point. The money will be out this year.
Yeah,
And I'd love to help you and your family take advantage of that additional money. And if it's not that program, it's going to be something else. But along the way, you're going to get peace of mind with me. You're going to know and be informed along the way of what you're getting into. And we're going to help get you that house and not send you out on that horror story of 50 homes looked at and no offers accepted. I'm calling every single listing agent. I'm working with your realtor hand in hand to get you that home. Let's make that a reality.
beautiful. All right, John, thank you for coming on today, and thank you for all your hard work on our joint file. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Thank you.